You grab your favorite soda from the fridge, crack it open, and take that first sip, only to taste something that's nothing like you remember. Maybe it's too sweet, maybe there's a weird chemical aftertaste, or maybe it just tastes off. You're not imagining it. In 2025, people across America are reporting that their go-to sodas have changed, and not for the better. Today, we're ranking 15 soda brands based on what real consumers are actually experiencing. From inconsistent batches to ingredient swaps that nobody asked for, we've combed through thousands of reviews, social media posts, and customer complaints to find out which sodas are worth ditching and which one actually delivers what they promise. Here's how we're judging these brands. Consistency matters. Does the soda taste the same every time, or are you playing roulette with every bottle? Ingredient transparency is crucial. Are they honest about what's in the can, or hiding behind vague terms like natural flavors? And finally, does it deliver on its promise, or is it all marketing hype with nothing to back it up? Before we dive in, comment below which brand you think will land at number 1. I guarantee at least 3 of these will surprise you, especially the one sitting at number 7 that people swear tastes completely different than it did 2 years ago. Number 15, store brand colas. Here's what people are saying. Store brands are a gamble every single time. One Reddit user put it perfectly. It's like they're trying to copy Coke, but forgot what Coke actually tastes like. The inconsistency is the killer here. Reviews consistently mention batches that taste watery one week, then overly syrupy the next. The bigger issue? These brands often change their formulas without notice, chasing whatever's cheapest at the moment. One Walmart shopper noted her Great Value Cola tasted like someone dissolved candy in carbonated water with a hint of battery acid. When you're paying bargain prices, you're getting bargain quality control, and it shows in every unpredictable sip. If you must, stick to name brands when sodas are on sale. The extra dollar is worth knowing what you're getting. Number 14, Faygo. Faygo has a cult following in the Midwest, but step outside Michigan and you'll find a lot of confused consumers. I wanted to love it because of the nostalgia, one Ohio reviewer wrote. But it tastes like someone left fruit candy in the sun for 3 days, then carbonated it. The main complaint? Overwhelming sweetness with a chemical finish that lingers. Multiple reviews mention a cough syrup quality, especially in their fruit flavors. Faygo Rock and Rye, once a regional favorite, now gets roasted for tasting like diabetes in a bottle, according to dozens of Amazon reviews. When even loyal fans are admitting the quality has slipped, that's a problem. If you must, their Moon Mist flavor has fewer complaints than the rest of the line. But manage expectations. Number 13, Shasta. Shasta positions itself as the affordable alternative, but in 2025, consumers are realizing you truly get what you pay for. Flat before you even finish the can is the most common complaint. Temperature seems to matter more with Shasta than any other brand. People report it's barely drinkable unless it's ice cold, which suggests they're masking flavor problems with cold temperatures. What really stands out in reviews is the aftertaste. One consumer described it as what I imagine drinking perfume would taste like. The fruit flavors are particularly rough. Shasta strawberry gets compared to artificial strawberry medicine from the 90s, in review after review. When a brand's main selling point is the price, quality control becomes an afterthought. If you must, stick to their cola if you're desperate, and drink it ice cold within 5 minutes of opening. Number 12, Sunkist. This one hurts because Sunkist used to be a solid orange soda. But in 2025, the Consumer Reports tell a different story. Tastes like someone dissolved orange starbursts in battery acid, reads one viral tweet with 40,000 likes. The problem isn't just taste, it's consistency. Some batches taste fine. Others have people checking the expiration date, wondering if they got a bad batch. The bigger red flag? Multiple consumers report stomach issues after drinking it. One mom posted in a parenting forum that her kids complained of stomach aches after drinking Sunkist, but not with other orange sodas. Whether it's the artificial colors, the sweetener blend, or something else, enough people are noticing a pattern that it's worth paying attention to. If you must, Crush or Fanta offer more consistent orange soda experiences without the stomach complaints. Number 11. Mountain Dew. Now, voltage and specialty flavors. Regular Mountain Dew has its fans, but the specialty flavors are where things get weird. Voltage, in particular, gets hammered in reviews for tasting like blue raspberry candy that's been sitting in a hot car. But the real issue is what people are calling the Dew crash. Reviewers consistently mention feeling jittery, then exhausted within an hour. One college student tracked his experience. Bought a 12-pack of Voltage for exam week. First can was great. By can 3, I felt like my heart was racing and I couldn't focus. Switched to coffee and felt better. The caffeine content, combined with whatever else is in these specialty formulas, is creating a rough experience for a lot of consumers. Social media is full of people sharing photos of these limited edition flavors sitting on shelves because nobody's buying them twice. When a brand relies on gimmick flavors and people won't repurchase, that tells you everything. If you must, stick to regular Mountain Dew if you must have the Dew, and avoid the neon-colored experiments. Number 10. Diet Right. Diet Right markets itself as the healthier diet soda with no aspartame, but consumers aren't buying it, literally or figuratively. The number one complaint across review sites is the aftertaste. Chemical wasteland in my mouth is how one Amazon reviewer described it. The sucralose they use instead of aspartame isn't winning any fans. Here's what's interesting. People who are actually trying to avoid aspartame for health reasons are still choosing Diet Coke or Coke Zero over Diet Right. That should tell you something. When your target market would rather risk the ingredients they're avoiding than drink your product, you've got a serious taste problem. Multiple reviews mention it tastes expired even when it's fresh. That's a brand image problem you can't recover from easily. If you must, just drink Zevia or another stevia-based brand if you want to avoid aspartame. Number 9. Sierra Mist. Starry. Here's where it gets messy. Pepsi killed Sierra Mist in 2023 and replaced it with Starry, and consumers are not happy about it. Grocery store forums are full of people saying Starry tastes like watered-down Sprite with a weird finish. The rebrand didn't fix Sierra Mist's problems, it just gave them a new name. One reviewer put it perfectly. If you offered me Starry or Flat Sprite, I'd take the Flat Sprite. The lemon-lime taste is there, but it's competing with something chemical that nobody can quite identify. Pepsi claimed Starry would be a bolder lemon-lime flavor, but what consumers are getting is bolder artificial taste. The consistency issues from Sierra Mist carried over too. Some bottles taste fine, others taste like lemon-scented cleaner got mixed with the batch. If you must, just buy Sprite or 7-Up. They're more expensive but actually taste like lemon-lime soda. Before we get to the top 8, comment number 8 if you're surprised by what we've covered so far. And here's something interesting. The next brand on our list used to be a top 5 favorite just 3 years ago, but something changed in their formula that has people actively avoiding it now. Number 8. Pepsi. Zero sugar. This placement is going to make some people mad, but hear me out. This is based on what consumers are reporting in 2025. Pepsi Zero Sugar had a solid reputation until they reformulated it in late 2023. Since then, reviews have collapsed. Tastes like someone tried to make regular Pepsi, failed, then added artificial sweetener to hide the mistake, is a typical review. The aspartame acesulfame potassium blend creates a bitter finish that regular Pepsi drinkers hate, and former Diet Pepsi fans say it's trying too hard to taste like real Pepsi and failing. What's more concerning is the number of people reporting headaches. Multiple forums have threads where former Pepsi Zero drinkers share they had to quit due to persistent headaches. Whether it's the sweetener blend or something else, Enough people are experiencing it that it's worth noting. If you must, if you need a Pepsi product, regular Pepsi or Diet Pepsi have fewer complaints. Number 7. Diet Coke. Now we're getting controversial. Diet Coke isn't terrible, but here's what's happening. People are noticing it tastes different depending on where you buy it. Fountain Diet Coke at restaurants? Fantastic. Cans from grocery stores? Reviewers say there's a metallic quality that wasn't there before. Bottles? Flat within 24 hours of opening is the #1 complaint. The regional variation is real. West Coast consumers report completely different experiences than Midwest drinkers. One California reviewer noted she bought Diet Coke in Chicago, and it tasted like a completely different product, in a bad way. The aspartame issue is getting louder too. More people are actively avoiding it in 2025, and Diet Coke's refusal to offer an alternative formula is pushing longtime fans to other brands. If you must, stick to Fountain Diet Coke at restaurants, or switch to Coke Zero for a more consistent experience. Number 6. Canada Dry Ginger Ale. People trust Canada Dry for an upset stomach, but in 2025, consumers are starting to question that trust. The biggest complaint? Doesn't taste like ginger. Multiple reviews mention it's basically sweet, slightly spicy soda water with no real ginger bite anymore. But here's the kicker. Canada Dry actually settled a lawsuit in 2019 for falsely advertising made from real ginger when their ginger ale contained little to no real ginger. That was years ago, but consumers haven't forgotten. One review summed it up. I'm paying for the idea of ginger, not actual ginger. The quality control issues are real too. Some batches are barely carbonated, while others are overly fizzy. For a brand that positions itself as the stomach-soothing option, that inconsistency is a problem. If you must, try Fever Tree Ginger Ale or Schweppes if you want actual ginger content. Number 5. Sprite. Sprite is everywhere, which might be why people are more willing to call out its problems. The #1 issue in 2025, Sprite from different sources tastes wildly different. Fountain Sprite at fast food restaurants is usually solid, but bottled Sprite gets hammered for being too sweet, and canned Sprite for having a tinny aftertaste. What's interesting is the international comparison. Americans who've traveled abroad consistently report that Sprite in Europe tastes better, crisper, less sweet, more refreshing. That suggests the US formula is optimized for something other than taste, probably shelf stability or cost. The overnight flat problem is real too. Multiple reviewers mention opening a bottle, drinking half, refrigerating it, and finding it completely flat the next day. That's a carbonation quality control issue. If you must, Fountain Sprite is your best bet. Or just buy 7-Up, which has fewer consistency complaints. Number 4. Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper has a loyal following, and for good reason. It's one of the few sodas that actually tastes consistent across formats. The blend of 23 flavors creates a taste that's hard to replicate, which means you're getting the real thing pretty much every time. Consumer reviews consistently praise it for tasting the same, whether it's in a can, bottle, or fountain. Where Dr. Pepper loses points is the sugar content. It's genuinely one of the sweetest sodas on the market. And in 2025, more consumers are calling that out. It's like drinking liquid candy is a common description. The diet and zero sugar versions don't hold up as well. They have the artificial sweetener aftertaste that people are increasingly sensitive to. But here's what Dr. Pepper gets right. They haven't messed with the formula. In an era where brands keep improving their recipes and making them worse, Dr. Pepper has stayed true to what works. Reviewers appreciate that reliability. One longtime fan wrote, "In a world where everything keeps changing, at least Dr. Pepper still tastes like Dr. Pepper." The regional availability can be spotty outside the South and Texas, but where it's available, it delivers what it promises. That counts for a lot. If you want it, Dr. Pepper is a solid choice if you're okay with the sweetness level. Stick to regular, not diet. Number 3, 7-Up is quietly dominating the lemon-lime category in 2025, and consumer reviews tell you why. Actually tastes like lemon and lime, not chemicals, is the most common praise. While Sprite struggles with consistency and Starry can't find its identity, 7-Up keeps delivering a clean, crisp flavor across all formats. What sets 7-Up apart in reviews is what people don't say. There are very few complaints about weird aftertastes, stomach issues, or inconsistency. The most criticism it gets is it's not exciting, which honestly might be a strength when every other brand is trying too hard to be innovative and failing. The zero sugar version gets surprisingly positive reviews too. Unlike most diet sodas, 7-Up Zero Sugar doesn't have the harsh chemical finish. Multiple diabetic consumers mention it's their go-to because it doesn't taste like I'm being punished for avoiding sugar. The packaging matters too. 7-Up seems to maintain carbonation better than competitors. Reviewers consistently mention being able to open a bottle, drink half, and come back the next day without it being completely flat. That's basic quality control, but in 2025, it's become a competitive advantage. What really stands out is the lack of formula changes. While other brands keep improving their recipes and alienating customers, 7-Up has maintained the same taste profile for years. Consumers appreciate that stability. One reviewer summed it up perfectly. 7-Up is like that friend who's not flashy, but always shows up when you need them. Number 2, Coca-Cola Classic, glass bottles. Notice the qualifier, glass bottles specifically. Because in 2025, consumers are figuring out that Coca-Cola tastes different depending on the container. And glass bottle, Coke is in a category of its own. Mexican Coke, in glass bottles with cane sugar, has developed a cult following for good reason. There's a depth of flavor in glass bottle Coke that plastic and aluminum just can't match, writes one reviewer who blind tested all 3 formats. The cane sugar versus high fructose corn syrup debate is real. Consumer after consumer reports that cane sugar Coke is smoother, less syrupy, more balanced. But here's what's fascinating. Even regular US Coke in glass bottles gets better reviews than cans or plastic. The glass seems to preserve something in the carbonation and flavor that other containers don't. One longtime Coke fan noted, "I thought I didn't like Coke anymore until I tried it from a glass bottle. It's like rediscovering what Coke used to taste like." The consistency is there too. Glass bottle Coke tastes the same whether you buy it in Texas, New York, or California. That reliability is harder to find than you'd think in 2025. The carbonation stays strong, the flavor doesn't fade, and there's no weird aftertaste that develops as it warms up slightly. Where it loses the top spot is accessibility and price. Glass bottle Coke, especially Mexican Coke, costs significantly more and isn't always available. But for consumers who care about taste over convenience, it's worth seeking out. As one reviewer put it, "I buy it in bulk from Costco because once you taste real Coke again, canned Coke feels like a compromise." Number 1, Cheerwine. And here's our number 1, a regional brand that most Americans outside the South have never tried. But those who have are fiercely loyal. Cheerwine is a cherry-flavored soda that's been made in North Carolina since 1917. And in 2025, it's the consistency champion. What sets Cheerwine apart is simple. It tastes the same every single time. No batch variations, no formula tweaks, no new and improved disasters. One reviewer who moved from North Carolina to Oregon orders it online because no other cherry soda comes close. And after 30 years of drinking it, it still tastes exactly the same. The flavor profile is unique. It's cherry, but not candy cherry. Multiple reviews describe it as sophisticated and not overly sweet like other cherry sodas. The spice note that people mention isn't listed in the ingredients, but regular drinkers swear it's there. A slight complexity that makes it more interesting than one-note sodas. Here's what really matters. The company is still family-owned. They make it in small batches, relatively speaking, and they've resisted the urge to expand too fast or change the formula to appeal to a broader market. That shows in the consumer reviews. People who discovered Cheerwine decades ago report it tastes identical to their first bottle. That level of consistency is basically extinct in the modern soda industry. The community around Cheerwine is intense. Multiple forums exist just for fans to share where they found it outside the South. One California buyer wrote, "I pay $4 a bottle to have it shipped because my local store won't carry it. Worth every penny." When people are willing to pay premium prices for a regional soda, that tells you everything about quality and consistency. The zero sugar version also gets rare praise for actually tasting like the original. Most zero sugar sodas taste like a completely different product, but Cheerwine Zero Sugar tastes close enough that I don't feel like I'm sacrificing, according to multiple diabetic reviewers. So how do you choose a soda that won't disappoint? First, pay attention to container type. Glass preserves flavor and carbonation better than plastic or aluminum. It costs more, but the taste difference is real. Second, check the sugar source. Cane sugar formulas consistently get better reviews than high fructose corn syrup versions. If you see Hecho in Mexico on a Coke bottle, that's cane sugar. Third, stick with brands that haven't reformulated recently. Every time a company announces they're improving their recipe, consumer complaints spike within months. Stability matters more than innovation in the soda world. Fourth, read the ingredient list. If you can't identify what half the ingredients are, that's usually reflected in weird aftertastes and consumer complaints. Finally, trust regional brands over national ones. Smaller companies with local followings tend to prioritize consistency because their reputation depends on it. They're not reformulating to save pennies per can or chasing the lowest cost ingredients. They're making the same product they've made for decades because that's what keeps their customers loyal. The soda industry in 2025 is full of brands cutting corners, reformulating without warning, and hoping consumers won't notice the decline. But people are noticing, and they're speaking up in reviews, forums, and social media. The brands that respect their customers and maintain quality are the ones worth your money. Comment below which brand shocked you most. And let me know if you've tried Cheerwine. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more consumer-driven rankings that cut through the marketing hype.